Welcome back, everyone. It is me, Matsmas. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we are talking about fitness, and army fitness, that is, because as you can see by that rather interesting rendition of British Army's Be the Best musical, the British Army worked hard in its day to make training videos that were more sort of appealing to the junior soldier or the soldiers that are aspiring to get better at fitness. Now, I am not one to preach to the choir and say, yeah, my fitness level's where they should be, because they're certainly not, especially towards the days where I was actually in the British Army myself. I was getting some really good scores in the old fitness levels. I was very, very fit actually back in my day. Joining at 16 and progressing all the way through my career, I kept my fitness to the highest standards. And this video, although extremely cringeworthy, as you can tell by the rather interesting musical rendition we just got at the beginning there of Army Be the Best, it actually brings on some really, really good points. Now, the footage that you're going to see today from WO2 Jennings, who to me is an absolute legend in the fact that he wears his shorts so high, wearing high-techs and white socks, that, my friends, is a 90s soldier if I've ever seen one. 1990s high-techs, Army Be the Best black t-shirts, which you can't get anymore, by the way. So if anyone has any of those t-shirts and is willing to send me one, please, I would be more than anything grateful to take one off your hands, and I would definitely give you a big shout out, because I never got one when I was in. They didn't have them anymore. As I said, it's kind of a 90s based video, but the video itself is actually pretty interesting. A lot of the content in this featured video is not going to be relevant to modern Army Day standards. Let me make that very clear. I am not a subject matter expert. This video is not there to be there for educational or reference for your training or for applying for the British Army. Things have changed, folks. The fitness standards that you're going to see within this video have changed. The way that things are happening in terms of stretching and physical exercises have changed. So just take it with a pinch of salt. But it does have some very interesting points that I would love for you to take away, because many of you keep poking and messaging me saying, Matt, what do I have to do to prepare to get into the army, and what sort of fitness training should I do? And I have always based my fitness training and my fitness regime on the British Army fitness training, because that was when I was at the fittest I've ever been in my entire life. I was able to do a 1.5 mile run in 8 minutes 5 seconds. I was able to pull out many push-ups, sit-ups, and my, advanced combat fitness tests, my CFTs, my combat fitness tests, rock marches, tabs and all that stuff were really good level. And that was true to the fact that the British Army knew what they were doing when it comes to physical training. They had good training routines, good fitness plans, extremely well-trained physical training instructors, for the most part, and they just had it figured out. Now, I'm not saying the Canadian Army is not their way. We have our own way of doing things, and I've done actually a video on the Canadian Army's variants of training and fitness regime. You can go check that out. I'll put it in the description box below. But this video just has some really good basic points that you can take away, whether it be from stretching or the things you have to do to try and get your cardiovascular fitness up, your upper and lower body, swimming even. It's really good. So I want you to take away from it, if you're new to the world of training to be in the army and army fitness, the points that this video is going to bring, because although they're not, super modern and updated, the core values and principles of fitness are pretty much the exact same back in those days as they are today. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You're going to have some rather interesting settings of where these guys are doing fitness. I think they're doing it in Cyprus, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like a British training site. It almost looks like a, Mediterranean kind of setup. I believe it's Cyprus they're training in, but we'll let the WO2 Jennings lead you through this instructional video, and hopefully you'll take a little bit away from it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get into it.
Hi, welcome to Fit for the Best. I'm Ian Jennings, and I work as a physical training instructor serving with the Army Physical Training Corps. This is a video about your body and how to make it look good, feel good, and do the things it's been designed to do as well as it can. It's been made for people who need to build up their physical fitness before they join the Army, but anyone can use it. Stick with us and you'll find that you'll have more energy, improved health, and what's more, better overall well-being. We're going to show you how to work on the 3 basic areas of fitness, which everyone needs to get the most from their bodies. First, stamina. That really means how strong your heart is. Second, upper body strength, arms, shoulders and abdomen. And third, lower body, your legs. To help me, I'm joined by some of my fellow Physical Training Corps instructors. Warrant Officer Class 1, Suli Alaji.
Hi.
Sergeant Barry Stoddard.
Hello there.
Sergeant Sue Blake.
Hiya.
And Sergeant Rod Leach.
Hi.
We also have a group of volunteers to demonstrate the different fitness activities you're going to see. They're all new recruits into the Army, and they've been with us just a few months. And already their fitness has started to develop and will need to keep on improving when you consider the jobs soldiers now have to do.
No job gets you fitter than this. To be a soldier today, you need your mind focused, your brain switched on, and your body firing on all cylinders. You need upper body strength to climb over obstacles, or abseil down a precipice. You also need it for shifting equipment and ammunition. You have to work fast and preferably not drop anything, especially one of these. And that means you need strong arms, shoulders and stomach muscles. Soldiers need to combine upper and lower body strength. Good legs to you and me, to stand up to the strain of carrying a 25-kilo pack on their backs. Or to carry someone out of trouble if they're injured. And of course, they need lots of stamina to be able to keep going all day and night if they have to. Not surprisingly, a large number of people in the Army excel at sport, and quite a few of them have become international competitors.
Now, equipment and kit. What are you going to need? Fortunately, getting fit doesn't cost a lot of money. We've based the locations in this video around one of our army bases in Cyprus, but we could be anywhere in the UK, because everything you're about to see can be done with things you can find around your home. What you must have before you start is a good pair of cross trainers or purpose-built running shoes. They don't have to be the really expensive ones, but they do need a good stable, supportive sole. That's the most important part, because it helps absorb shock and prevents the jarring of your knees and spine. The other thing you need is a goal. What you're aiming at is this.
These are the fitness targets that new Army recruits have to reach before they're allowed to start their basic training. If you can achieve them, you'll be in pretty reasonable shape. You'll find those targets in the goals booklet that came with the video.
But you're not going to get there overnight. Getting fit is like a journey. As well as your destination, you need to know the stages along the way. In the goals booklet, you'll find that each target is broken down into stages everyone can manage easily. So, where do you start? It doesn't matter what kind of training activity you're doing. The place to start always is with a warm-up. There are two reasons for warming up. One is to increase your heart rate so that it pumps more blood to the muscles, which gets them ready for action. The second is to give your muscles a gradual stretch to prevent minor pulls or tears. You also need to do the same exercises after training so that your body can slow down gradually.
You can do this anywhere, on the street, in the garden, wherever it's convenient. To get warmed up, you do some gentle running, and you can stretch your upper body at the same time. This one's for stretching your triceps and the muscles around your shoulder girdle and upper back. Place your arm behind your head so that it's touching the shoulder blade on the opposite side. Place your hand just behind the elbow and pull inwards gently. This is called a full circle, and it mobilizes the shoulder joint. Extend your arm in front of you with your fingers pointed. Make a circle, brushing past your ear and your hips back to the start point. Make sure you do this in both directions. Now a couple of lower body stretches. Stand with one leg in front of the other, legs slightly apart, both feet facing forwards. With feet flat on the floor, place your hands on the front of your thigh on the rear leg and ensure that your back stays straight. By keeping your front leg straight and your rear leg bent, gently drop your body weight down towards the ground until you feel your hamstring stretch.
Go down, feel the stretch on the back of the right hamstring. Hold it there.
Hold the stretch for about 7 to 10 seconds before changing legs.
Left foot forward.
Be careful not to overdo it.
Sink down, hands on the right
It
side.
is important not to bounce when doing these exercises.
Hold that stretch and slowly stand up. Step forward with the right foot. Make sure the left foot is to the rear and pointing forward.
This is a calf stretch. With one leg in front of the other, make sure both feet are facing forwards. Place your weight on your leading leg and at the same time go onto the toes of the rear leg. Keeping the weight on your front leg, slowly push your heel down and feel the stretch. Again, don't overdo it.
Hold it, and slowly stand up. Okay, from there...
And finally, an exercise for the large muscles at the front of the thigh, the quadriceps. Stand with your legs slightly apart, lift one heel up and hold your ankle. At the same time, slightly bend your supporting leg. Slowly pull your knees in line and feel the stretch. To emphasize it even more, push your hips forward and stand up straight. But always ensure the knees stay in line and that there is a gap between heel and buttock. Again, hold the stretch for 7 to 10 seconds before changing legs. If you find yourself overbalancing, hold on to something or someone.
Grab it by the ankle.
So, Suli, what sort of time scale do you think we should be looking at for the warm-up and the cool-down exercises?
Well, Ian, you really want to be looking at least 10 minutes warming up prior to any exercise taking place. And then on conclusion, you need 10 minutes cooling down and stretching.
That's to give your heart and other muscles time to wind down naturally instead of stopping all at once, which isn't good for them. Now, let's look at stamina, or to give it its technical term, cardiovascular fitness. What this boils down to is how strong and efficient your heart is. The heart is a muscle, so the more you use it, the stronger it gets. But you've got to get the balance right. If you try and do too much, you become fatigued too quickly. And if you don't do enough, you won't get any fitter. Fortunately, there's an easy way to get this right. It's based on your heart rate, the number of times your heart beats a minute. First, how not to overdo it. Take the number 220 and subtract your age. If you're 16, that gives you 204. That's your maximum theoretical heart rate. You don't want to let your heart go any faster than that. But don't worry too much about it, because in practice it's very, very difficult. But we also want to make sure we're working hard enough. Very simple. Your heart needs to be doing about 60% of its maximum. So again, if you're 16, that's just over 120 beats a minute. That's the minimum you need for your training to have any worthwhile effect on your stamina. The spread between 120 and your maximum heart rate is called the training zone. And that's where you want to be. Stamina helps you perform well at everything, including tasks that need your brain to be sharp. If you're doing something that combines physical work and mental concentration, then the fitter you are, the longer you can stay focused and have sharp reflexes. If your body's tired, your brain gets tired. If your body's fit, you stay alert longer.
There are all sorts of things you can do to build up your stamina, but the simplest and easiest is to go running. You can go running anywhere, anytime. All you need are loose-fitting clothes, good running shoes, and for women, a proper sports bra. The point of going running, or of any stamina training, is to get your heart rate up into the training zone and keep it there. Remember, if you're 16, the minimum is 120, and the maximum is 204. You can work out your heart rate by taking your pulse either at your wrist or on the side of your neck. Or, if you've got one, use a heart rate monitor. What you have to do is get an accurate pulse reading as quickly as possible. Rod, how can this be achieved?
Using your watch, count your pulse for 6 seconds. Multiply this number by 10, and this will give you your heart rate for the minute. This in turn will tell you whether or not you're in your training zone.
If you've never done any training before, it's better to start with a combination of walking and jogging. Walk for 2 minutes, jog for 3. Check your pulse to see if it's in the training zone. If it's not, jog a bit faster. The next time you go out, increase the amount of time you walk and jog until you reach 25 minutes. The next time, do 25 minutes again, but with more jogging and less walking. The goals booklet will show you how to build up from walking and jogging to jogging and running, whilst increasing the amount of time you do by 5 minutes a week. By taking it in easy stages, you'll be amazed how far you get. If you can do that, you should have no problem in running 1.5 miles in 11 minutes 45 seconds. which is what our recruits have to do. Swimming is another excellent way of building up your stamina. And there's a very handy way of combining swimming with exercises to strengthen your arms and upper body. After every length or after every second width, you pull yourself out using only your arms and rest for a moment before swimming again. You build up the amount of exercise just as you would do for running. You can also time yourself across widths or lengths and swim them even faster and reduce the resting time. Two other excellent ways of building up your stamina are cycling and rowing. What all the exercises we've seen have in common is that they make your body work steadily, and that in turn is what makes your heart get gradually stronger. Ideally, you should do 3 or 4 sessions a week, leaving a day in between each one for your body to recover. We'll hear more about recovery in a minute, but first let's move on to upper body strength. You obviously need upper body strength for lifting things, but more important than that, you need it for lifting yourself or other people, especially to get out of trouble. For example, could you pull yourself over a wall or climb up a rope if your life depended on it? Could you carry a mate if he's broken his leg, or if you were trying to get out of a burning house? Sounds scary, but it shows that upper body strength is not just about preening your biceps. As you can imagine, the Army takes upper body strength pretty seriously. And the two simplest exercises we can use, which you can do anywhere, are press-ups and sit-ups.
Up, down. Keep your back straight on the press-ups. Up, down.
This may not look like a barrel of laughs, but press-ups are an incredibly effective way of strengthening your arms. The key to making it really work for you is to keep your back as straight as possible. This encourages you to use your back, stomach and thigh muscles correctly, as well as your arms. As in all the exercises, try to increase the number you do every week.
Back straight, up.
If the full press-up is too difficult, or as you become fatigued, try using the assisted method by going onto your knees. In order to exercise different parts of the upper body, vary the distance between your hands. This is called a tricep dip. Feet on the ground, hands on the chair, and push up. If you fancy a bit of weightlifting, you don't have to buy expensive kit. 2 bottles filled with water or sand, and you've got a homemade dumbbell that you can set to any weight you like. This is exercising the bicep muscle of the upper arm. Stand with your legs shoulder width apart, bend your arm steadily through 90 degrees towards your shoulder.
Okay, and feet flat on the ground, hands across the chest.
For strengthening your stomach muscles, it's hard to beat the well-known sit-up.
Good.
Keeping your feet flat on the floor, legs bent, place your hands across your chest. Exhale as you sit up, ensuring that you keep your hips on the floor. Start with 5 and build up to 10, then 15, then 20. This is not only strengthening and toning the muscles, it's also helping you to develop a good posture for your spine.
90 degrees and down. Good.
These are called alternate leg raises. Prop yourself up on your elbows, legs straight. Then raise one leg off the floor, lower it and raise the other one in a continuous action. Start with 10 on each leg and build up in increments of 5. Ensure you don't lean back whilst doing the exercise.
And down. And up.
This exercise is for your lower back. It's called a dorsal raise.
And down.
Lying flat on your stomach, arms by your side, slowly raise your shoulders and chest off the ground. Hold momentarily before slowly returning to the starting position. Ensure that throughout the exercise you keep your backside relaxed.
And down. And up. Good. Down. And up. And clustery. Halt.
So Sue, what's the most important thing to remember when doing these exercises?
Well, the most important thing is to do the exercises correctly and then try and build up the number of repetitions steadily.
How often do you think we should be working each body part?
I would say 2 to 3 times a week.
Just as with your stamina training, you build these exercises up in easy stages, and that's all explained in the goals booklet.
Keep your elbows in.
It's also very important that you allow a rest period between each session of exercise. The reason is that when you train, you are asking your body to do more than it usually would. It's actually why you rest and recover that the body responds by adapting the muscles to cope with the new workload. That is how you get fitter and stronger. Something else that's very important is that you eat the right food. There's not a lot of point in training hard to look good and then ruining it by eating and drinking too much of the wrong stuff. The first thing to realise is that the human body is incredibly economical. It doesn't need a lot of food. Believe it or not, all the average adult male needs to get through one day without any particular strenuous activity is 2,500 calories. Women need even less, but for both sexes, the important thing is to get the balance right between carbohydrates, protein and fat. Ideally, about 74% of your diet should be carbohydrate. That's things like pasta, rice, bread and potatoes. About 15% should be protein. That's chicken, fish, beans, lean meat and eggs. And roughly 11% should be fat, which can be found in most dairy products. The trouble is that most of us eat too much fat, and it's easy to see why. The problem with fat is that it's everywhere, in crisps, chips, burgers, fried food, chocolate, ice cream. In fact, mostly all the foods that are easily accessible. Generally, people have no idea how much fat they're eating or how many calories they're consuming. So if this is what your diet looks like, you might want to have another think about it. It's just too easy to eat too much of the wrong sort of food. Another way to look at it is like this. If you eat a chocolate bar, it takes about half an hour to burn off the calories you've taken on board. So imagine the amount of time you'll have to run to burn off a quarter pounder and fries. Also, watch out for eggs. Although high in protein, they're also high in cholesterol, and that's not good for your heart. So next time you sit down to eat, think about what you're consuming. Another thing that undoes all the hard work is alcohol. It's deposited in your body as fat, and it also dehydrates you. Never ever drink alcohol before or just after an exercise session. Stick to water and lots of it. Cheers. The other big no-no, of course, is these. Cigarettes carry a government health warning about cancer, and they may also clog up your arteries. Smoking restricts the blood to your muscles, which can lead to heart disease. Not nice at all. And now, last but not least, lower body strength. Have your legs got what it takes? However inactive we are, most of us spend a reasonable amount of time on our feet, so our legs tend to get a bit more exercise than the rest of our bodies. But we'd have a long way to go to match people who depend on real leg muscle power to be the best at what they do. And even if you don't want to be a champion surfer, strong legs are essential for lifting heavy objects and for being able to run fast. They're not bad for self-defense either.
Exercise, begin. Going down and up.
For thigh muscles, one of the most effective exercises is the squat. It's very simple. Keeping your back straight, raise and lower your body, making your legs do all the work. Place your hands on the front of your thighs, bend your legs until your fingers touch your knees, and then return to the start position.
Down and up. Back straight, looking forwards.
Another favourite is the step up, which also helps with stamina. It's not unlike climbing up a steep hill. You can do this at home using a chair or outside using something like a park bench. You need to find something solid that's not too high.
Up, down, down. And up, and down. And up, and down.
These are hill raises, and they're great for strengthening your calves. Stand, legs shoulder width apart, extend slowly up onto your toes, hold momentarily before lowering again. And one of the best exercises of all is good old-fashioned skipping.
And hold it there. So, Barry, obviously finding a piece of rope isn't a problem, but what are the benefits of skipping?
Well, it's a good way for building up your calves and thighs, but more importantly, it is a superb way for building up your stamina. Exercise, begin.
You can combine all the upper and lower body exercises you've seen here into a circuit means you'll be strengthening all the muscle groups and building up your stamina at the same time.
Begin. Come on, good. Well
You
done on the
must
squat.
make sure you
Well, extend
rotate
on
between
the press
upper
up.
body,
Steady.
abdominal
Hold.
and lower body
Ready.
exercises to give the various muscle groups time to recover.
Let's go. Well done on the tricep dip.
And that's just about it, except for one last thing. Nearly everybody agrees that it's a good thing to be fit, and so it's worth making an effort. But that's in theory. In practice, you've actually got to do it and stick with it if you're going to benefit. So what do you do if you're just not in the mood?
The thing that motivates me to train, no matter what the weather, rain, sleet or snow, I set my goals and I strive to achieve them.
I like to train every day. If that's not possible, then I'll do 3 or 4 sessions a week for about an hour, which of course includes the warm-up and the cool-down.
Fitness is so important to me because it makes me feel good within myself and gives me a sense of well-being. I feel alert, sharp and ready for anything.
Even if you exercise as much as I do, you really do need to watch your diet. You can look at it like if you drive a Rolls Royce and you put diesel in it, something's going to give and it's going to be engine trouble, so of course you have to watch your diet.
And now it really is up to you. Give it a go. Put in a bit of work and you'll be amazed at the payback. Guaranteed. So get stuck in, read the booklet and prepare to be... Fit for the best! Good luck.
Body to the limit, you gotta push your mind and your body to the limit. Be the best. Be the best in every way. Be the best. Every hour, every day. Be the best. Gotta find the will to win. Be the best. Don't give up and don't give in. You gotta disregard the rest.
And me? After all the hard work, I just reap the benefits.
Don't give up and don't give in. You gotta disregard the rest. Fit for the best. Be the best. Be the best in every way. Be the best. Every hour.